Gold participants and listeners from around the world. I'm Kristin Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC for Gold Learning. And today I have Tamara Drentel-Brandt here with me to chat. Hello, Tamara.
Hi,
It's so good to have you back here with us at Gold. How are you, my dear?
I'm good. This is my third year actually with Gold, and I'm very excited. So
Very
thank you for
exciting
having
for
me. Yeah.
us indeed too. And you will be participating and presenting at the Gold Lactation Online Conference of 2019 with a wonderful topic. But before we go talk about your presentation, the presentation is titled Reflections on a Breastfeeding Peer Counseling Program in Lebanon, Lessons Learned and Looking Forward. That sounds exciting and very interesting. But before we go into the topic, Tamara, where in the world are you? And tell us a little bit about, you traveled so much, you lived all over the place. So tell us a little bit about your background and where you're located right now.
I was just saying before the presentation that when we recorded last year, I'm in a different country again. That seems to be the story of our life for the past 10 years. My husband and I are both Americans by birth, but we've been in the Middle East, Lebanon and the United Arab Emirates for the past 10 years. My son was born in Beirut, and we've been lucky that we've been in that part of the world, so then we've gotten to travel to all sorts of fun places in Africa and Europe and Asia. But now, ironically, we just moved to Ireland this summer. So we're settling in. We've been here about 6 months, and it looks like we're going to be here for a while. So we've kind of traded the desert heat for the, what can I say, rainy, weather of Ireland. It's been an interesting adjustment, but a good one. So,
It's from one
yeah.
extreme to the other, from the dry desert to the the rainy,
Pretty much,
but also
yes.
beautiful landscape of Ireland. I'm sure it is. Tell me, how
Yes.
did you end up, you and your husband, in the Middle East to begin with? You're both American, so how did that come to pass?
That's actually a really good question. We get asked that a lot because we don't have any Arab roots. Everyone assumes my name, Tamara, it's an Arabic name. That, I might have a Arab father or, one of us, maybe I'm married to someone who's from the Middle East. But my husband and I were both getting our masters in Middle Eastern Studies at the University of Arizona. And we met there. We were colleagues and friends for a few years, and then we started dating our last year. And then, ironically, we both ended up getting into graduate programs at the American University of Beirut. And so, on a whim, we decided to get married. And we literally got married and moved to Beirut the same week. So, it was a very interesting place to start, the new chapter in our life. In Lebanon, for us, we moved away from Lebanon. This will be our fourth year gone, but it's still home. My husband was just there. Actually, he just got back today for a conference. But the friends that we made there are lifelong friends. They're like our family. And my son was born there. All the breastfeeding mothers that I've helped, that I started my lactation career, and as a Leche Lake leader, everything started in Beirut, Lebanon for me. So Lebanon for us is a very special place. So,
Yeah, it
but yeah, so
sounds like a
we've
wonderful
kind of been all over.
experience for you. Hmm.
So yeah, and we're in Ireland now, and I'm getting my family settled, and then I'm gonna start picking up where I left off
Hmm.
and start trying to learn about breastfeeding in a new culture. So
And you are the author, or you created something very special that many of our listeners are familiar with. You created the Galacta blog, is that correct?
yeah, I
Oh.
I did that because living in the Middle East,
Hmm.
it felt to me that, a lot of questions and resources were, run or buy this product at Target or
Mm.
Amazon. And we didn't even have access to pumps besides Medela. I mean, now the market has more products, but back then when I started, there was nothing. And so I started Galactablog as just a free forum for lactation specialists around the world, just to be able to share ideas and resources and products that, we couldn't necessarily get if we were in the West. And it's turned into this giant online forum. And so it's been fun. I go on spurts where I do lots of posts and then I take
Mhm.
breaks. Um, and so I have lots of good blog posts coming up in the
Oh,
future.
that sounds
So
wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Great, and what a great resource, especially as you mentioned in countries where you might not have all the, tools and resources like in some of the countries where you can, as you said, just order from Amazon. So you
Yeah.
offer low cost resources and help. I'm sure that you touched many lives there and helped many mothers and families with their needs and struggles. That's just wonderful. Thank you for that.
Do you know what the cool thing is? Is that I help one mother,
Hmm.
and then that mother turns around and helps 10 of her
That's
friends
right.
or
That's
relatives.
right.
So that's the cool. I still get goosebumps when I talk
Yes,
about that. It's just such an amazing,
that's just
um,
wonderful.
when you help other, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, that's great.
So,
That's great. Yeah, so you don't touch just one life. And this mother t tells another friend or another sister, and so it keeps going, and that woman t tells another woman, and so on and so forth. So it really is. It's like a wave going. It's wonderful. That's beautiful.
it is, and it's not just mothers
Mhm.
benefiting, it's babies,
Babies,
and then,
yes.
future generations.
Hmm.
It's just this awesome cycle that,
Yeah,
hopefully will keep
it,
going and going.
exactly. Because the babies that grow up with this, they will take it and use for their babies.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about a couple of things that maybe not everybody is familiar with knowing you. And I want to bring this up before we talk about your topic here, but I think it's just so
Uh-huh.
fascinating. You are also a furniture artist and upcycler. Tell us a little bit about that part of your life.
I I am. When we moved to the United Arab Emirates from Lebanon, um, I was sick at the time, and I had issues with my IBCLC license and trying to get a work permit. And so I just did volunteer work as a La Leche League leader. And I took a break from private practice while we lived there. And I just started finding things for cheap, just at thrift stores, or there were lots of expats moving, and so I'd get these beautiful wood dressers and frames and trunks and coffee tables that people bought from India and Africa and Europe. And it was more just out of boredom and therapy. I just started teaching myself, I guess, um, you know, how to restore furniture. And so I just did it for us, for our home at the beginning. And then I actually started selling the furniture. And then so it became kind of like a side business, I guess. And so and then I started teaching classes too, on so then people could learn how to do their own, if they had a nightstand or a little table that they wanted to change the look of. Or say you buy something at IKEA and you don't want the white, or the black laminate. I had workshops on how,
Oh,
to
fascinating.
change the look. And
That's really fascinating. You're
and
so creative and resourceful. That's wonderful.
so, but it goes back to my,
Yeah.
just like with lactation, I love teaching.
Yeah.
I love I love teaching people tools and tricks on how to do whatever will make them happy. And it was a creative venture that I'm still going to keep up in Ireland too.
Hmm.
That it's fun.
Yes.
And it, like I said, it kind of served as therapy. It was very therapeutic. So I
Wonderful.
highly recommend hobbies,
Highly recommend
whether
hobbies.
it's
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, they,
whatever it is, if it's drinking coffee or reading
yes.
books or walking or photography, I
Yes.
mean, anything that can bring you joy.
Yeah, good for the soul and for the spirit, right?
It's
To
exactly,
recharge the batteries
exactly.
from day-to-day life. And another interest of yours, and that's very interesting too, is rare orphan diseases. How did that happen? You're interested in that and you're becoming quite a specialist. So tell us a little about that.
Yeah, this is actually a personal trajectory that I was not expecting. Um, I mean, I have a master's in public health, and I studied infant and maternal health. But after I gave birth to my son, I had some health problems. And looking back, it it took, a good 5 years for them to manifest completely. But I ended up being diagnosed with two very rare orphan diseases. And if anyone doesn't know what an orphan disease is, it basically means it's so rare that people don't, or companies like pharmaceutical companies and researchers, doctors, they're hard to diagnose, very difficult. Not a lot of funding goes into it because it's so rare. Pharmaceutical companies aren't going to make money from drugs. And so I ended up getting diagnosed with two. And they are life threatening, and so I'm just very lucky to be here today, actually, and to be diagnosed and to have a great medical team. I was diagnosed in the United Arab Emirates, and I had a global team. And then I had another team in Lebanon, and my doctors there actually called me their doctor house patient because they used to meet every month and talk about me over coffee. So at least we got to have a little fun with that. But it's actually spiked my interest in lactation because now I'm meeting other people with these rare diseases, and there's some women that are getting pregnant and lactating, and their doctors know nothing because the diseases are so rare. And so I'm actually able now to help people navigate uh, breastfeeding and treatments and what treatments are compatible with breastfeeding. And if they have to wean or not, most of the time doctors tell you automatically you can't get pregnant, you have to wean. And so it's a great feeling knowing that um, all my research and all my, you can say trials and tribulations can actually help other people. So, so I hope in the future to actually present maybe for a future conference for Gold on rare diseases and how to manage lactation, because it's just a topic that light isn't shed on enough.
Right, right.
Both for for doctors and healthcare professionals and lactation specialists and nurses and physical therapists, whatever health professional you are. So
I think
um,
it is just amazing that you took even in a difficult situation and being, sick and taking that, turning that around and turning this into what can I do with this and help others, in this situation. That's just amazing, Tamara. That's wonderful that you're doing that and assisting others who.
that's the only way, because otherwise I'd never get out of bed, to be honest. If you start going down that dark tunnel, then it's not even, I mean, you just have to keep. I'm so lucky to be here. And so, some people, you can live your life, and I know how fortunate I am. And so I'm just trying to take advantage of that and to make every day worth getting up for. So,
Wonderful.
so yeah, I'm excited.
Good. And now let's talk a little bit about the topic you're presenting on briefly, and it's titled
Yeah.
Reflections on a Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Program in Lebanon. Tell us a little bit about it. Not too much because we want our listeners to come to the presentation, right?
Yes.
Just give us a little broad, um, kind of like a little sneak peek or a teaser here for our listeners.
Yeah. So, actually, it was the first ever peer breastfeeding program, a training program in Lebanon. So it was a pilot program. And so basically my presentation, I'm going to take everyone through how I developed it, implemented it, and then how I evaluated it. And evaluations are missing from a lot of programs. People think they're difficult or expensive. And so my goal is to actually take my lessons learned from my program, and believe me, I have a lot of what I did good, what I could have done better, what the participants would have liked, what could have been improved upon. And I'm going to share and then walk Gold participants through how to create their own program or how to better a current program or maybe even just how to conduct evaluations. And so there's a lot to take away from my presentation, even if you're not, currently running a peer training program. And I've also put together some resources on how to be an effective listener and how to improve your counselor skills, your counseling skills, which are both essential for lactation specialists. And so I've tried to develop some resources that folks can actually just take away from my presentation as well that will help them in their lactation and healthcare practice. So I'm excited.
And I'm excited too. I can't wait for your presentation. This is wonderful. Thank you so much, Tamara Drentelbrand, to be here with me and chatting with me about the upcoming presentation and a little about your life and just taking a moment to filling us in where you are now in the world after all your travels. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to everyone soon.
And now to our listeners, the presentation reflections on a breastfeeding peer counselor program in Lebanon, lessons learned and looking forward is part of the Gold Lactation Online Conference 2019. This presentation will be live on April 9th. And to find out when it's going to be live in your time zone and about the other presentations in the conference, please visit goldlactation.com. Thank you so much and hope to see you at the conference. Bye bye for now.